Bonjour.
Bonjour, Barbara.
Hello, Barbara.
Bonjour, Jerry.
Bonjour,
Hello, Jerry.
Barbara. It's good to see you this morning. How are
Thank you. It's
you?
good to see you. I'm fine.
And how was the weekend?
Good.
What did you do? You had fun?
Not really.
Wow.
I rested actually. Je me suis reposée ce week-end.
Okay, it's good. It's good. C'est bon.
Alors, ce matin,
on va parler d'un sujet.
Well, today we're delving into a controversial subject, colonial symbols. I'd like to start by telling you about a different fact that happened in Senegal. You'll see the pictures. A few weeks ago, the city of St. Louis in Senegal experienced heavy rains, which caused material damage, including the fall of this statue. The story could have stopped there, except that this is not any statue. It represents a former colonial ruler, Louis Faidherbe, who was the French governor of Senegal in the years 1800. When the statue fell, many Senegalese saw a positive sign, and they said to themselves, it is better, it is an occasion to replace it with a local historical figure. The response of the Ministry of Culture of Senegal, however, is that the statue will be reinstalled as soon as possible. The city of St. Louis is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and this statue is part of their heritage. And the statue was reinstalled a few days ago despite the protests. And this example just shows the presence of colonial symbols that is still a sensitive subject. And there are many more in the African continent. Those are honest statues. For example, some countries have decided to change their names inherited from colonization. This is the case, for example, Rhodesia, now known as Zimbabwe, or cities such as Leopoldville, named after the king of the Belgians, which became Kinshasa.
Devenu le Zimbabwe, ou encore que des villes comme Léopoldville, du nom du roi des Belges, est devenu Kinshasa. Dans les pays anglophones,
in the English-speaking countries, there are remnants of British colonialism in the courts, with the funny blonde wig symbols of the English judiciary system, which are still worn by judges and lawyers in countries like Kenya, Zimbabwe, or Nigeria. So, in this rather passionate debate, there are on the one hand those who think that some vestiges of colonization are an insult and must be abolished. And on the other side, there are those who also think that this colonial history are painful as it may be and cannot be erased. This is the opinion of Malian historian Doualay Konate. He is president of the Association of African Historians. Take a listen.
It is clear that colonization has affected our societies thoroughly. When you look at all the boundaries of our present states, they are borders inherited out of colonization. That is why I say that colonization is part of our history, and somehow we must assume it. The problem is knowing what we're doing today, and that is where these colonial monuments pose a problem. People are building an identity today, and sometimes they wonder, what place does the colonial past have in that identity? You see, these are topical issues.
And he said that the beginning of the solution will be to make more room for national historical figures, but above all to better teach colonial history.
The debates that we see in the public space are hot debates that concern more memory than history. History is a construction that wants to reflect on what happened, while memory is something else. Memory is a memory of events. It's different. Memory invokes passion and emotions. In my opinion, people need to know their history better. You know, to appropriate history and to assume it, as people often say, you have to know it.
And this debate on colonial or slave symbols does not affect Africa. Also, Western countries are concerned. Remember a few months ago in Charlottesville in the United States, there were demonstrations of white supremacists. They were demonstrating against the city's decision to remove the statue of General Lee, a warlord who was in the slavery camp during the Civil War. The Civil War took place between 1861 and 1865 between the northern states of the United States that wanted to abolish slavery and the southern states that wanted to keep it. Since the violence in Charlottesville, several American cities have decided to remove monuments paying homage to slavers. We remain in the same theme, but we move on to the photo with a South African artist. She's called Sembile Msezane. South Africa is full of monuments that pay homage to personalities who have played a role in the establishment and maintenance of apartheid. And this artist has had, according to her, in her own words, to find symbols in her everyday life. She wanted to protest in her own way by turning into a living statue. The aim is to create a debate on the presence of all the vestiges of apartheid in the public spaces in South Africa. That's all for the Chronic. We'll meet in a few days. Goodbye.